Episode 18, we're pushing forward again on the Jeep, getting the exhaust on. I did make an adjustment to the power steering gear here. I'll kind of show you that. It's not necessarily the right way to do it, but it's the way I can do it with the tools that I have. So I'll show you that. But yeah, we're gonna get the exhaust on, get the intake on, and start making this thing look like it can start here soon. So anyway, we'll get to it. So for the steering gear adjustment, then I took this hose off, but I have these spanner wrench kind of deal, and there's on the one second here, there's that. So if you take the steering shaft off, then there's on this surface here underneath, and there's two holes, and these fit in, and then you can turn that, screw it in, you know, further, and tighten up the amount of slop that you have in your steering. Now there is I believe there's a torque spec for this. Problem is that, you know, I have this, and I don't have a way, you know, to put a torque wrench on it. So I'm just adjusting it some, and then I go and feel my steering wheel, and then, you know, adjust it some more. And there's still a little bit of free play in it. I didn't adjust it until, you know, there was no free play, because I don't want it to start, you know, grinding in there and self-machining. But it is a lot less free play than what I had. So that's the way that I did that. I'm sure that there's you know, other tools and better ways out there, but that's how I did it. Well, you can see here that this guy, let's see if I can hold it up for you. It's like not even close to fitting over that. We'd have to take out quite a bit to get that to fit over there, and that's just not gonna happen. So once again, we're delayed on getting the exhaust manifold put on, so that's a bummer. I'm not aware of there being, you know, multiple sizes of this donut, depending on, I'm guessing that maybe there's different years of Cherokees used a different one. But anyway, this doesn't fit this one, so I'll have to make another trip to the parts store. Since the exhaust manifold donut didn't fit, then I went back to working on wires. So these are those, I know I showed you guys in another video, these are those $5 adapters that I got off of Amazon. And then these are the adapters to the radio itself. And then this is my ignition wire to my accessory relay box. And so this is just turning on the coil side of the relay over there, so it's just like a 1/4 amp draw, so it's not, you know, adding much draw to the circuit. One thing that's kind of weird that radio wiring does is puts the switched ignition wire is a red wire, and their constant battery is a yellow, instead of, like, I feel like it would make sense if your constant battery was red, since your battery cables are red and like all that sort of thing. But anyway, that's what they do. But I have my wires with ignition as yellow, so that's why we have this yellow wire attaching to red. So anyway, that's my harness there. These splices, I've been really liking this barrel type splice. And then let's see if my pliers are here. One second, I'll show you the pliers I use to crimp them. And these guys, so I just do it like half at a time. You can see the little deal in the middle. And I just set them up like this. And then poke my wire in there and crimp it down, and then I just put heat shrink over the top with the type that has the adhesive inside, so it kind of glues when you heat it up, and then you end up with this. So super nice how everything's color coded. You know, it just makes it really slick. So that's ready to go in, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing there. Well, you can see the difference here in the inside diameter. The outsides are a little bit different too, but this one's the new one that I got. That should be the right one. So anyway. Okay. That'll be good. Okay, so I just set the manifold in here. So I've got the exhaust pipe. You know, the bottom of it is just set in there. There's no, I haven't bolted it up there. And then I've just got it set onto the two studs that are on either end here. So I'll put the nuts on that go on here to hold it in place. And then I'll get the intake manifold, and because the rest of the bolts are shared with the intake. Perfect. Okay, so my first idea is putting a bolt in just loosely here and here, that I think I should be able to set the intake manifold and kind of hang it off of those while I get the rest of the bolts in. That's kind of my thought process. So we'll give that a try here. And there's these two dowels, one here and one here, that fit into the holes here and over here. So we'll see if this works out. Sweet. Okay. Damn it. Well, one of them fell through. I don't know where that bolt went. I got the washer back. Let's see. Well, of course, it's not a pro project unless you're looking for dropped hardware. Our exhaust manifold bolts, we've got 4 different groups of bolts here, and then we've got 3 different torque specs. So 2 of the groups are both at 23, but then we've got a group at 17 and a group at 30. And then if you turn, now this has, let's see, one second. So 12 through 13 are at 30, and I believe that only the 2000 and later models have 13 bolts. I think the earlier ones only have 11, so we can just disregard that last group. But then here's the 3 different manifold styles depending on the year range. So here's the early one. This is the one I have, the 91 through 99. I've got a 99. And then here's the 2000 and later, where they have 2 outlets, and then they had 2 catalytic converters right there. And I think it's a cast iron versus this one is a stainless from the factory, and this one might have been the same deal. I'm not sure, but anyway, so if you look close, you can see the numbers for the bolts, and then you just follow that, follow those numbers and the torque specs here. So we'll just be using the first 3 of those. So anyway, that's what we got next. Well, I've got the manifolds bolted up. A lot of the video that I took of the process, unfortunately, was kind of a bad angle, and I ended up leaning, in the way, and it was just a lot of video of the back of my sweatshirt. So, nothing really, complicated about this. There's just a couple bolts on the bottom of the intake that, hold, half on the intake and a half the exhaust. They're a shared bolt on the bottom, kind of like these ones here, and they're just a little tough to get to, and that's one of the ones that I dropped and had to find, that sort of deal. This rail here, if I were to do this again, I would just make sure I had this up above before I stuck the intake in. I had left it out of the way over here, and I had to kind of work it, work it around here. So that would, next time I would just pull this harness up here. This is the injector harness. Otherwise, it's pretty simple other than that. So yeah, nothing too weird there. So next steps are going to be getting the power steering, getting the fuel rail on. I had to clean that up. I'd taken it off, and I didn't clean all the fuel out of it. I drained it, but I didn't wash it out. So then that fuel sat in there over the last, about a year, and kind of just created some surface rust inside of it. So I cleaned it in an ultrasonic cleaner, and so then that's washed up now. So I'll be able to put that on. So yeah, I think power steering, fuel rail, getting the rest of the harness up here hooked up, and then I've still got a few little wiring things to do, and put the sensor in for the fan, the temperature sensor, and then step inside. So getting closer. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully there's something helpful in it, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.